heart failure prevention. Brother Samuel, over to you.
Hello, hi, thank you, Christine. Can y'all hear me? All right. So good afternoon. My name is Samuel. I'm an advanced practice nurse working at Tan Tock Seng Hospital with the heart department. It's my privilege to share with all of you how we can prevent heart failure today. So this is the outline for today. We'll go through these few topics. So firstly, what is heart failure? Heart failure is a lifelong and progressive condition in which the heart is unable to pump enough blood to meet the body's needs for oxygen. And as the result, there's a back pooling of blood in the vital organs and the vessels, which result in the signs and symptoms of heart failure. So and that includes shortness of breath, usually upon exertion, or worse, when lying down, waking up in the middle of the night due to breathlessness, productive cough with whitish, frothy phlegm, and fluid accumulation in the legs, abdomen, fatigue, and other signs and symptoms. So why is it important to prevent heart failure? Sorry. Oh, slides. Oh, I share again. Sorry, some technical difficulties. Oh, now okay already? Oh, okay. So why is it important to prevent heart failure? Heart failure is quite prevalent, with about 2% of the global population having heart failure. So this accounts for about 38 billion people worldwide. And in Singapore, the incidence is higher at 4.5%. This is due to higher rates of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes, which predispose people to heart diseases. And in addition, with excellent healthcare in Singapore, many patients with heart attacks survive and live longer. 20% of patients die within 1 year of diagnosis of heart failure. 50% of patients die within 5 years of diagnosis of heart failure. And the cost of one heart failure hospitalization stay at a C-class rate is $2,100. 1 in 5 patients discharged from with heart failure gets readmitted within the next 30 days. So with such high rates of mortality and readmissions, and not to mention the cost of one hospital stay, it's better to stay safe than sorry and not get heart failure. There are 4 stages of heart failure, A, B, C, and D. When we diagnose people with heart failure, they end up at stage C. So today we'll be focusing on stage A, at risk of heart failure, and B, pre-heart failure, as our topic today is on the prevention of heart failure. So we do not want to get to stage C. I don't know why the screen like that. So there are many causes of heart failure apart from the 4 stated here, but majority of heart failure causes, about 30%, is caused by coronary artery disease, which is blockages of the heart arteries, and high blood pressure, which accounts for another 30% of heart failure. Our talk today will focus on these 2 causes of heart failure. First, let us talk about coronary artery disease, or heart artery blockages. So in this picture, we have 2 different kinds of arteries. An artery is the blood vessel that delivers blood that usually contains nutrients and oxygen to the organs. The top artery is normal with no blockages. The bottom artery has a blockage there. And when the artery gets more blocked, the blood supply to the heart muscles decreases to a point where the muscles do not get enough oxygen to function. And when that happens, the heart muscles die. The body is unable to replace the dead heart muscles, so thus once it gets to that stage, it's largely irreversible. Risk factors that contribute to heart artery blockages or coronary artery disease can be classified into modifiable and non-modifiable. Non-modifiable risk factors include that of age. As you get older, you have more coronary artery disease. Being male, being in certain race such as Indians, and having a family history of early heart attack. So these things you can't really control. Modifiable risk factors mean something can be done about it to lower the risk of developing coronary artery disease. And these modifiable risk factors include the 3. Oh, this screen is not showing. Maybe I stop sharing again. Sorry for the this one. Can? Okay, so sorry, so sorry. So as saying there are non-modifiable risk factors and modifiable risk factors. So non-modifiable risk factors include their age, being male, being a certain type of race such as Indian, or having a family history of early heart attack. So these things you can't really control. Modifiable risk factors means you can do something about it to lower the risk of developing a coronary artery disease. And this includes the three highs or 三高 in Mandarin, of diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Other modifiable risk factors are smoking, alcohol, and sedentary lifestyle and obesity. We'll focus on the modifiable risk factors because when you reduce the risk of developing coronary artery disease, you reduce the risk of developing heart failure substantially. So next, briefly touching on hypertensive heart disease, another common cause of heart failure. This is a heart disease caused by poorly controlled high blood pressure. So you can imagine your heart as a pump, pumping out water, and then imagine something blocking the outlet of the water here. So what does the pump need to do to pump out the same amount of water? And let's say you cannot remove the source of the blockage. So the pump has to pump harder to get the water out. And to do so, it needs to get stronger or bigger. This is the case when your blood pressure is high all the time. Your heart has to overcome the extra pressure to pump out the blood. As per the case of the water pump, your heart has to become stronger to pump the same amount of blood out. So your heart muscles get bigger. And you might be thinking, heart muscles bigger means heart stronger, right? Shouldn't it be a good thing? So let's have a look at the picture on the right. When your heart muscles get bigger, the heart chambers actually get smaller and stiffer. And that means the heart chambers do not fill up with as much blood as before. So when your heart chambers do not fill up with enough blood, no matter how strong your heart is pumping, it doesn't really matter because there's really nothing to pump out. So let's delve into the main part of the talk today, how to siam heart failure, or how to avoid heart failure or prevent it. So we shall use this fictitious case of Mr. Sim Bo Ho to help us with this task. So this is Mr. Sim Bo Ho. He is a middle-aged Chinese gentleman. His favorite foods are fast food like burgers, pizza, French fries, nuggets. And he also likes local food like char kway teow, nasi lemak, Hokkien mee, and many other tasty food. So he works at a desk job and mainly faces the computer all the whole day. And then when he gets home, he loves to unwind by watching Netflix. Mr. Sim Bo Ho also smokes one packet a day since he was about 20 years old, and he likes to drink alcohol. He likes hard liquor, takes about 3 to 4 shots daily. And Mr. Sim Bo Ho is not surprisingly overweight. And not surprisingly also, he has the 三高 of diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. What stage of heart failure is Mr. Sim Bo Ho currently at? So Mr. Sim Bo Ho is currently at stage A, at risk of heart failure, and probably quite high risk, if I may add. So is it too late for Mr. Sim Bo Ho? Can he avoid coronary artery disease and hypertensive heart disease? Can he siam heart failure? And if so, how can he do it? So let's start with diet control. We can use this healthy plate by the Health Promotion Board as a guide. So in general, we need to adopt a well-balanced diet, which includes a variety of foods. And this includes 1 portion of carbohydrates, 1 portion of meat or fish, and 2 portions of vegetable and fruit. As for beverages wise, Singapore has made it mandatory to show the grade. So choose a better graded beverages like either A or B. So they have less sugar and lesser saturated fats. So the target HbA1c level, which is the average blood sugar level over about 3 months, is generally lesser than 7%, and it can be adjusted from person to person based on the risk. Oh, the screen hanged again. Wait, sorry. Oh. Can you see now? Okay. Oh, sorry. So I was saying as for beverages wise, so Singapore has made it mandatory to show the grade. So choose better graded beverages, either A or B. So they have lesser sugar and lesser saturated fats. So HbA1c level aim to be lesser than 7 and can be adjusted from person to person. As for diet-wise, how to control blood sugar levels, so we need to eat appropriate and consistent amount of carbohydrate or starchy food at each meal to help to achieve a constant blood sugar level. And when we are talking about blood sugar levels, the main thing that affects it is the amount of carbohydrates, not only sugar per se. So thus we are talking about rice, bread, potatoes, noodles, flour-based food like prata or pasta, green vegetables, fruits, and breakfast cereals. So take this kind of food in moderation. Take the meals regularly and consistently in terms of timing and amount. If you eat too much of this kind of food, you will have problems with your blood sugar level. And of course, avoid having snacks in between meals. Next, we'll talk about cholesterol and hyperlipidemia diet. So the aim here, we need to limit the, oh, why? Yeah, go back. Again. Why like that? Connection no good. Sorry. So we need to limit food high in cholesterol. So cholesterol is only found in animal products, and the food sources such as organ meat, egg yolk, animal fat, fish rolls, squid, prawns, and crabs. The recommended dietary cholesterol intake is 300 milligrams per day. And for those with high blood cholesterol level, the dietary limit is 200 milligrams per day. So some healthy eating dietary tips is to use less oils and fats. Choose unsaturated cooking oil. Limit deep fried food to twice a week at max. Ask for less gravy. Remove the skin and fats. And eat no more than 2 to 3 egg yolks per week. Limit organ meat, shellfish. Choose the lean meat and low-fat dairy products. Eat oily fish like sardines, mackerel, tuna at least twice a week. And also eat fresh fruits, also in moderation. As for cooking methods, so we can choose a healthier cooking methods such as grilling, boiling, microwaving, stir fry, steam, or bake, roast, or stew. And then we can use low-fat yogurt, evaporated milk, soya milk to replace coconut milk in cooking. And we can use a non-stick pan for cooking so that we use less oil. And when eating out, we can choose plain rice instead of flavored rice, choose noodle soup instead of dried or fried noodles, and leave behind the gravy and soup if there is, and we can ask for more vegetables. And choosing food products at the supermarket, so we can look at these options with the healthier choice logo. So there are many different variations of this logo. We can look out for that. And lastly, to help with cholesterol, we can also eat more high fiber food. So it helps to lower down the total cholesterol and total bad cholesterol, the LDL, as it removes cholesterol by excreting it through the feces. So some of sources of fiber will be the fruit, legumes, vegetable, whole grains such as oats, barley, brown rice, and wholemeal bread. So in short, we will need to limit cholesterol-rich food such as organ meat, egg yolk, seafood. Limit food high in saturated fats by removing the fat from the skin, from the meat, and also then eat less deep fried food, less coconut milk containing food, and eat high fiber food. So the target LDL varies, so it can be either less than 3.4 or less than 2.6 or less than 1.8 depending on your risk profile. So consult your healthcare provider regarding this. Reduction in the LDL of 1 results in a decrease of major cardiovascular events by 23%. And we are talking about stroke, heart failure, ischemic heart disease, death, and death from cardiovascular disease. Next, we'll talk about salt and hypertension or high blood pressure. Yeah, so avoid food that are high in salt. The recommendation limit is about 2,000 milligrams of sodium, which is equivalent to 5 grams of salt, which is also equivalent to 1 teaspoon of salt. So here are some food items with their salt amount listed on the left. One slice of luncheon meat uses about half your daily limit already. And one salted egg utilizes your whole day's salt limit. So how do we get tasty food if we need to limit our salt intake? the advice it will be to use spices and herbs to flavor the food instead of using salt. You should take less soup with the dipping sauces. Also, we can choose the healthier choice lower sodium options. Sorry, need to share again. This one is it? Yeah, okay. So if you lower the target blood pressure is below 130/80 lah, and a reduction of blood pressure, systolic blood pressure of 5 mmHg, which is the number that you see usually at the top and on the left in this case, results in a decrease of major cardiovascular events by 10%. Next, we will talk about exercise. As noted from earlier, sedentary lifestyle is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. And Mr. Sim Bo Ho is mostly sedentary, with his work being desk-bound and his hobbies revolve around watching television. Thus, the recommendation is to get in about 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity. This would involve something like brisk walking, jogging, or swimming. Moderate intensity can be judged by the level of activity that you can still talk but not sing. The other recommendations will be to do strengthening exercises 2 times a week. This will help to strengthen your muscles, bones, joints. So things like weights, kinesthetic exercises will involve these kind of exercise. And lastly will be to reduce the amount of time being sedentary. This could involve movement breaks, such as like taking 5-minute walking breaks every 30 minutes of desk-bound work, or standing during meetings or during work, or taking the stairs instead of taking the lift. Yeah, it might be a lot for Mr. Sim Bo Ho to start all this at once, but he can start slowly at first and then progressively increase. So maybe he can start by dropping 1 or 2 bus stops earlier before he stop and then walk the rest of the distance home, or going for 5-minute walks every day. So something like starting something small and then slowly increasing. That is the key. Again, start. Let me share again. So next we'll be talking about managing obesity and managing weight. So it has many benefits, such as lowering the blood sugar level, blood pressure, and cholesterol, and it also lowers the stress on the heart. So most restructured hospitals will have a weight management team, which comprises of a doctor, nurse, a dietitian, and a physiotherapist. Treatment will involve diet modification or meal replacements, exercise, medications, and even surgery in some cases. So a BMI of 18.5 to 22.9 is healthy BMI. BMI of 23 to 27.4 poses moderate risk of health problems, and a BMI of more than 27.5 poses high risk to health problems. So you can scan the QR code here, and you can calculate your own BMI by putting your weight and your height. So I'll leave this QR code here for a while. So we can carry on. So smoking has been linked to many diseases, not just heart disease. Thus, smoking cessation has many benefits for people. There are counselors who are able to guide and support people who choose to quit smoking. One of the ways would be through nicotine replacement, like the gum shown on the right here. So in a nutshell, we replace the cigarettes with nicotine gum that tricks your brain to think that you are smoking. The gum contains the nicotine, minus the other harmful substances contained in the cigarette. And over time, we aim to replace more and more cigarettes with the gum. And eventually, you also will be sick of the taste of the gum and then totally quit altogether. Yeah, so Mr. Sim Bo Ho should seriously consider having some smoking cessation counseling. Next, we'll talk about alcohol. If you do not drink, it's best not to start, but if you can't abstain, then moderation is key. So limit alcohol, as it will cause increased blood pressure and weight. The recommendation for men is not more than 2 standard drinks per day, and for women is not more than 1 standard drink per day. The standard drink is measured as about 2/3 of a can of beer, so it's about 220 ml, a glass of wine, which is about 100 ml, and one shot of 30 ml of a hard liquor. There are nationwide services as listed here. Let me just share the screen again. Yeah, that can help you or help someone who should decide on embarking on cutting down to quit drinking alcohol. And if you want to siam heart failure, don't siam your medicines. So I know no one likes taking medicines, myself included. But if you need to control your diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight, it's better to take those now rather than get coronary artery disease and heart failure where you have to take even more medicines. So take your medicines and go for regular checkups to make sure that your cardiovascular risk factors are well controlled. Just let me share the screen again. So speaking of following up, Healthy SG is an initiative for us to sign up with our local general practitioners to provide follow-up for our chronic diseases at subsidized rates. And it will be the same doctor that's seeing you all the time, so he or she will know you very well. So you can go to Health Hub or Healthy SG to find out more on how to sign up and through the QR code here. So I'll just leave it here for a while. So what happens if Mr. Simho doesn't change his ways? That he suddenly develops a crushing left-sided chest pain that travels to the jaw and the shoulders, accompanied with breathlessness and cold sweats. That's a heart attack. So Mr. Simboho is being raced to the hospital right now. And Mr. Simboho goes for a coronary angiogram, which reveals a severe blockage in one of his heart arteries, for which they intervene by placing a stent to open up the blood vessel. And then he does a transthoracic echocardiogram or ultrasound scan of the heart, reveals that his heart function has reduced to 30%. So normal people have a heart function of about 55 to 60%. So you can say that's about half the normal heart function. So does Mr. Simbo have heart failure at this point in time? So let me share the screen again. So not yet. Mr. Simboho does not have the sign of symptoms of heart failure, though his heart function has worsened. So this will have placed him in stage B, pre-heart failure. So is it too late? Will Mr. Simboho definitely progress to stage C, which is heart failure? Well, it will not be surprising for Mr. Simboho to progress to heart failure, but there are still steps he can take to prevent or at least delay the progress. So what will Mr. Simboho have to do now? He will have to do everything we have talked about in the first part regarding diet, exercise, weight management, smoking cessation, and cutting down on alcohol. And on top of that, more things to protect his heart and prevent another heart attack, which is what we call a secondary prevention. So for heart protection, Mr. Simboho should undergo cardiac rehab, which can be simply put as heart strengthening exercises. It increases one's survivability, reduces the risk of developing another heart attack, and reduces the incidence of heart failure. And on top of that, Mr. Simboho will have even more medications, as mentioned before, to protect his heart and hopefully improve his heart function. And to lower the risk of having another heart attack, Mr. Simboho will again have to be on even more medicines. Firstly, blood thinners. He needs to take 2 for the first year and then 1 lifelong. And another medicines which Mr. Simboho will have to take will be to have more intensive LDL control, will be stronger cholesterol medicines. So let me just share this again. So in summary, heart failure is a nasty disease and you don't want to get it. And it's not rocket science to prevent heart failure. So the general healthy lifestyle, like eating healthily, exercise, stay away from cigarettes and alcohol, keep a good healthy weight, take your medicines as prescribed by the doctor, go for regular checkups, and hopefully you will not progress up the stages of heart failure as Mr. Simboho did. So here are some resources that you can just, let me share the screen again. So these are some of the resources that you can refer to for more information on heart failure and heart health. Just leave this here for a while. Okay, and these are my references. Sorry, just share the screen again if you want to have a look. Yep. And oops, share screen again. Oops, sorry, I almost left the meeting. Okay, so special thanks to advanced practice nurse Jennifer Wong, my boss, and my clinical supervisor, Dr. Tan Chung Kiat, who were instrumental in putting together this presentation. A special shout out to the heart failure service team in Tan Tock Seng Hospital also. So, yeah. So thank you very much for your attention. Now we will have a break, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Samuel. We will now take a 10-minute break to take this time to take the questions you may have, and we will address them after the break.
lecture too?
Ma'am, look, I really don't want to argue here, right? My work has its value, so please pay already.
That's why people like you never progress in life. You're uneducated, disrespectful, take your dollars, and stop wasting my time.
Hey, ma'am, please,